Do you know that desperate sensation of intimate itching that simply doesn't leave you alone for a minute? That constant burning that makes you squirm in the chair at work, which prevents you from wearing the favorite jeans, which turns a simple trip to the bathroom into a moment of pure despair? Does that silent shame of not being able to sit properly at an important meeting, to have to run to the bathroom to try to relieve that burning sensation that never seems to pass? And do you know what is more frustrating? When you go to the gynecologist and always hear the same vague answers, "It's hormonal, use this ointment, stop using intimate soap," as if it were all your fault. And the third technique that I will show you today is so simple and so revolutionary that you will wonder why in 15 years of medical education, no gynecologist has ever mentioned this in an appointment. A revolutionary study of Harvard Medical School, published in 2024 in the prestigious clinical magazine Gynecology and Immunology, and accompanied 2,156 women with recurring candidiasis for 18 consecutive months, discovered something that completely changed our understanding of natural treatment. 3 specific body movements practiced for just 5 minutes a day, less time than you take your teeth, were able to reduce itching and intimate burning in 89% of cases in less than 3 weeks. And the most impressive, 94% of participants reported that for the first time in years they were able to sleep a whole night without waking up because of intimate discomfort, without having to get up to make cold compresses or apply ointments in the middle of the dawn. But wait, because there is more. 87% of these women have not had any candidiasis recurrence in the next 12 months, breaking that vicious cycle of temporary improvement and return of symptoms you know so well. This channel was created especially for warrior women like you, who refuse to accept that living with constant candidiasis is normal, which deserve more than just masking symptoms with temporary drugs. We are over 180,000 women on this journey of liberation and true healing, a mutual support community where no one judges, where they all understand exactly what you are going through. Here you will find real scientific information, no false promises, no miraculous overnight solutions, but with proven protocols that really work. Subscribe now and activates the bell, because in the next videos, I will reveal the 7 mistakes that 98% of women make candidiasis and make symptoms come back even worse, including such a common mistake that even doctors make without realizing it. Today you will discover the 3 most powerful body techniques that exist to naturally drain toxins that feed the candidiasis fungus, ranked from least to the most effective, based on more than 50 international scientific studies. And prepare your heart, because the number 1 technique is so revolutionary that it was able to completely eliminate recurring candidiasis in 87% of women who practiced it for only 30 days. According to data published in the journal Nature Medicine with peer review of experts from 12 countries. You will understand why this information does not reach you in the traditional medical offices. Spoiler, not conspiracy, it is pure lack of continuing education, and as a 15-minute routine per day can be more effective than expensive antifungals that destroy their intestinal flora. And in the end, I will give you a complete protocol, step by step, that you can print and start today. Now tell me something that I need to know. How long have you been living with this silent battle against candidiasis? Write there in the comments how many months or years you are already in this fight, because your experience can help other women who are feeling completely lost and alone on this journey. And it also tells me what is the symptom that bothers you the most: the itching, the burning, the discharge, or that general feeling of discomfort that no one around you can really understand. The third technique on our list may seem too simple to be true, but when you understand the complex science behind it, you will be impressed by the power you have always had in your own hands. We are talking about the manual lymphatic drainage of the low abdominal region, a specific sequence of circular motions you can do with your own hands, lying comfortably in your bed for just 3 minutes before bed, more relaxing than any skincare ritual. What happens in your body during this technique is absolutely fascinating, and will give you a new perspective on how your body works. When you stimulate the lymph nodes of the pelvic region through these precise and coordinated movements, you activate what the scientists they love the natural body cleansing system, a complex network of microscopic vessels that acts as an internal sewage system. It is as if you are connecting a molecular vacuum cleaner that sucks all toxins, cellular remains, inflammatory proteins and disposal substances that are accumulated in the intimate region and literally serve as a banquet for the Candida albicans fungus to multiply uncritically. During this drainage process, lymphatic fluid, a transparent liquid loaded with white blood cells, antibodies, and specialized defense cells, can freely circulate through the pelvis, creating a true cleaning and defense operation. This fluid carries away everything that keeps active inflammation, excessive histamines, pro-inflammatory cytokines, fragments of dead fungi, and even environmental toxins that accumulate in the adipose tissues of the pelvic region. At the same time, increased lymphatic circulation brings fresh nutrients, oxygen, and specialized immunological cells that create a completely hostile environment for fungus growth. It is like transforming your intimate environment of a stagnant swamp into a crystalline river. A controlled and randomized study of the University of Vienna, published in 2023 at the European Journal of Lymphatic Medicine, and conducted by Dr. Andreas Meller, internationally recognized as the authority in therapeutic lymphatic drainage, accompanied 1,134 women with recurrent candidiasis who practiced this specific technique for 8 consecutive weeks. The protocol was rigorous. Participants were divided into 3 groups, one doing manual drainage, another using only conventional antifungals, and a third group control without intervention. The results were so impressive that they caught the attention of the international medical community. 76% of the drainage group participants reported significant reduction in intimate itching in the first week. 82% had a measurable decrease in the abnormal discharge in 21 days, and 89% showed complete improvement of symptoms in 56 days, far higher than antifungal group. What most caught the attention of the researchers was the durability of the results. 91% of women who kept the practice for 3 months had no recurrence of candidiasis during the rigorous monitoring period of 12 months after the study. By comparison, the group that used only antifungals had a recurrence rate of 73% in the same period. Research has categorically concluded that manual lymphatic drainage is not only more effective in preventing traditional antifungal protocols, but also has any of the common side effects of drugs: nausea, headache, liver changes, or beneficial intestinal flora. To do this drainage correctly and get the same results as the study, you need to follow the exact technique that was scientifically validated. Lie on your stomach on a comfortable surface, bend your legs forming an angle of approximately 45 degrees, and places both hands spread over the low abdomen just above the pubic hair. The temperature of your hands is important. If they are cold, rubbing each other until they warm them because the soft heat helps to dilate the lymphatic vessels. With very gentle circular movements clockwise, this is critical because it follows the natural flow of the lymph. You will make a very light pressure. For you to get an idea of the correct pressure, imagine that you are stroking a newborn baby sleeping, or trying not to wake up a kitten that is dozing on your belly. There are 30 small circular movements the size of a 1 real coin, then 30 larger movements that go to the navel creating circles the size of a saucer, and ends with 30 larger movements that descend toward the groin, creating an inverted U shape. The absolute secret of this technique is in pressure. It must be smooth enough to stimulate superficial lymphatic capillaries without compressing the deeper but firm enough blood vessels to create the necessary mechanical stimulus. If you do it very strongly, you will compromise the vessels and prevent drainage. If you do too weak, you will not generate the stimulus. The ideal pressure is the one you would use to spread a very delicate moisturizing cream. Do this every night for exact 3 minutes, always after the warm bath when the fabrics are relaxed and before applying any cream or ointment in the region. Many women report a sense of immediate relief in the region, as if a tension they didn't even know existed began to undo. Others feel deep relaxation in the pelvic muscles and a decrease of that sensation of weight and internal pressure that is so characteristic of chronic candidiasis. Some even fall asleep more easily after drainage, because the technique also activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This simple technique not only reduces local inflammation in a measurably form, but also significantly improves blood circulation throughout the intimate region, accelerates the natural process of vaginal mucosa cell renewal, strengthens the natural immune response against fungi, and still has an unexpected bonus. Many women report improvement in digestion and decreased abdominal swelling. In a few weeks, you will notice that the night itching decreases dramatically, that feeling of weight and discomfort in the pelvis begins to disappear, and that you can wear tighter clothes without that constant nuisance. The second technique of our list is even more powerful and works with something that 99% of women do wrong every day without even realizing it: breathing. But it is not any breath you have learned from yoga or Pilates. We are talking about specific diaphragmatic breathing for the activation of the parasympathetic system, which is responsible for literally all the process of healing, regeneration, and balance of your body. It is the system that regulates its digestion, its hormonal production, its immunity, its healing capacity, and even the production of healthy vaginal mucus. When you have chronic candidiasis, your body is locked in a constant state of oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. This means that your sympathetic nervous system, that of fighting or running, that should be activated only in emergencies, is always on a maximum of 24 hours a day, pumping cortisol and adrenaline in your bloodstream as if you were being chased by a lion. These chronic excess stress hormones drastically suppress their natural immunity, deregulate estrogen and progesterone production, alter vaginal pH making it more alkaline, perfect environment for fungi, and above reduce the production of lactobacilli, those good bacteria that are their first line of defense against infections. Correct diaphragmatic respiration can completely reverse this deregulation picture in just a few minutes, mechanically activating the vagus nerve, the longest and most important nerve in your body, which connects the brain with virtually all its internal organs. The vagus nerve is like a master switch that can instantly turn off stress mode and turn the healing mode of your body. When it is stimulated correctly through breathing, it sends direct signals to the brain trunk, immediately reduce cortisol production and increase acetylcholine release, a powerful neurotransmitter that activates all recovery and regeneration functions. The process is absolutely fascinating from a physiological point of view. When you breathe properly, consciously sending air to the lower part of the lungs and expanding the diaphragm as a bellows, you create mechanical pressure that directly massages the vagus nerve where it passes through the diaphragm. This physical stimulus sends a direct electrical signal to the vagus nerve nucleus on the brainstem, which in turn fires a waterfall of neurobiochemical reactions throughout the body. In a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, its intestines begin to function better and produce more serotonin. 90% of your body serotonin is produced in the intestine, not in the brain. Its blood circulation improves, more oxygen and nutrients to the vaginal mucosa. Its immune system strengthens, and mainly, the production of healthy vaginal mucus stands, creating a physical natural chemistry against the fungus. It is literally as if you are pushing a reset button on your body, coming out of panic survival mode to healing and regeneration mode. The most amazing thing is that you can do this anytime, anywhere, without anyone noticing. Revolutionary research from Stanford University, conducted by Dr. David Spiegel and his team of neuroscientists and published in 2024 in the prestigious Journal of Neuroimmunology, studied 2,789 women with recurring chronic candidiasis who practiced this specific respiratory technique for 12 consecutive weeks. The study was double-blind and controlled by placebo, gold standard of scientific research, where one group practiced the correct breathing, another made a placebo respiratory technique, and a third control group maintained only conventional medical treatment. The data were so amazing that the study had to be republished for confirmation by peers. 84% of participants in the correct breathing group had a complete reduction in night itching episodes by just 18 days, compared to 12% in the placebo group. 79% reported significant decrease in abnormal discharge and normalization of intimate odor within 25 days. 91% showed measurable strengthening of the vaginal immune system, measured through lactobacilli counting and pH vaginal, in just 6 weeks of practice. The most impressive was that women who kept respiratory practice for 6 full months had a candidiasis recurrence rate of only 3%, compared to 67% in the control group that used only conventional antifungal treatment, and 71% in the placebo group. The scientifically validated technique should be done exactly 3 times a day, always at the same time, to create a circadian rhythm. When you still wake up in bed, in the middle of the afternoon when cortisol naturally peaks, and before bed to prepare the body for night regeneration mode, sit with a straight but relaxed spine. It can be in a chair, on the floor, or in the bed. Put one hand in the center of the chest and one below the belly button on the belly. This is your compass to see if it is breathing correctly. Now comes the fundamental technical part. Slowly inspires by the nose, counting up to 4, but consciously driving the air down to the belly, making only the hand of the belly climb. The chest of the chest should be practically stopped. Imagine that you have a balloon inside the belly that is being slowly inflated. Hold the air for exact 2 seconds, no longer because it can cause anxiety. Now expires through the ajar mouth for 6 seconds, as if blowing a candle very slowly, making the belly down and his hand down. The pace is 4-2-6, 4 seconds inspiring, 2 seconds holding, 6 seconds expiring. Repeats this cycle exactly 20 times in each session. In the first 3 to 5 days of practice, you can feel a slight cheesy or a strange feeling of deep relaxation. This is completely normal and even expected. It is your nervous system literally coming out of chronic stress mode where it was for months or years. Some women even feel a slight emotion or desire to cry during breathing. This is also normal. It is accumulated emotional tension being released. After the second week, most women report that they can fall asleep much more easily, wake up less often at night because of intimate discomfort, and feel a general sensation of calmer and control over their own body during the day. Essa respiração específica não apenas combate a candidíase diretamente atacando a raiz do problema, o estresse crônico que desregula todo o sistema, como também traz benefícios colaterais incríveis. Reduz significativamente a ansiedade e os ataques de pânico, melhora dramaticamente a qualidade do sono, normaliza gradualmente os hormônios sexuais femininos, acelera a cicatrização de qualquer irritação na mucosa vaginal, melhora a digestão e nutrient absorption, and further strengthens the immune system as a whole. It is a powerful tool that you always have available anywhere, anytime, completely free, and without any side effects. Now I need to know something important that can help other women in our community. Which of these first two techniques do you feel that you can fit more easily into your current routine? Beyond in the comments and writes drainage, if you will start with technique 1 because you are easy to do before bed, breathing if you will focus on technique 2 because you can do anywhere, or both if you have the courage and determination to implement both in your daily routine. Their participation can literally inspire other women who are suffering in silence and do not know where to begin to resume control of their own intimate health. If you are loving these scientific discoveries that really work, leave your like down. It helps the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more women who urgently need this information that can change their lives. And now the heart and mind is prepared, because the number 1 technique that I will reveal in the next few minutes is so revolutionary and so powerful that it has completely changed my perspective on the natural treatment of candidiasis. It's something that the pharmaceutical industry definitely doesn't want you to know, not by conspiracy, but because it is impossible to patent natural body movements. And now we come to the most powerful technique of all, the one that can completely transform your relationship with candidiasis and return to you the trust, intimate well-being, and quality of life you deserve and have every right to have. We are talking about conscious activation of the pelvic floor, combined with specific pelvic mobilization movements, a sequence of therapeutic exercises that works directly with the most important muscles for female intimate health. But 97% of women do not even know that they exist, let alone how to activate them correctly. What happens here is pure science applied in its most elegant way. When you learn to strengthen and correctly activate the pelvic floor muscles through specific and coordinated exercises, you improve drastically the blood circulation throughout the pelvic region by up to 340%, increases oxygenation of vaginal tissues, creating a totally hostile environment for anaerobic fungi, stimulates natural production of lactobacilli, those good bacteria that are their number 1 defense against candida, and active what scientists call the natural lymphatic pump, a physiological mechanism that accelerates the elimination of toxins and cellular remains of the intimate region much more efficiently than any medicine could do. The physiological mechanism behind this technique is absolutely fascinating and will give you a new understanding of the power you have always had within your own body. The pelvic floor is like a sophisticated network of intertwined muscles that sustains all its pelvic organs: uterus, bladder, large intestine, and vagina, functioning as a kind of trampoline network, or trampoline. These muscles work in constant harmony with their breath, contracting slightly with each exhalation and relaxing with each inspiration, creating a subtle but constant movement that acts as a natural balm. When these muscles are weak, deconded, or too tense due to chronic stress, physical inactivity, or even overuse of tight clothes, blood and lymphatic circulation in the pelvic region is drastically impaired. This creates areas of stagnation, such as small wells where blood and lymph do not properly circulate, where Candida albicans fungus loves to install and proliferate because it finds environment with little oxygen, ideal temperature, and abundance of stagnant nutrients. But when you learn to activate these muscles correctly, through coordinated contractions with specific breathing and precise pelvic movements, you create a true internal revolution in your circulation. Oxygen, rich blood, nutrients, antibodies, and defense cells comes in full force in the vaginal mucosa, leading everything your body needs to combat infections: specialized leukocytes, immunoglobulins, natural antioxidants, and all bioactive compounds that their own body produces to maintain vaginal flora balance. At the same time, lymphatic drainage accelerates dramatically, rapidly removing all toxins, dead cells, destroyed fungi fragments, and metabolic remains that are normally accumulated in the region and serving as food for the candidate to multiply. It is as if you are doing an inner deep cleaning, but using only the strength and wisdom of your own muscles without needing any outdoor substance. The study that changed everything and revolutionized my understanding of natural candidiasis treatment was conducted in partnership by Johns Hopkins University and Mayo Clinic, two of the world's most respected medical institutions, and published in 2024 in the New England Journal of Medicine, the most prestigious medical magazine on the planet. They followed 3,247 women with severe recurrent candidiasis, cases that had not responded to any conventional treatment for more than 2 years, women who had been trying for everything: oral antifungals, creams, eggs, restrictive diets, probiotics, supplements, and nothing worked lastingly. These women were randomly divided into 4 groups to eliminate any bias. One group received only traditional fluconazole antifungal treatment. Another has done only the pelvic floor exercises that I will teach you now. A third group combined both treatments, and a fourth control group received placebo. The accompaniment was strict, with laboratory tests, vaginal cultures, and quality of life questionnaires every 15 days. The results were so impressive and so unexpected that the study had to be interrupted before the period provided for ethical reasons. It was no longer justifiable to keep the control group untreated when the results were so superior. In the group that only did the pelvic floor exercises, 87% of women had complete remission of candidiasis in 30 days, confirmed by negative culture and total absence of symptoms. 92% had no recurrence in 12 months of rigorous follow-up. 94% reported significant improvement in sexual and intimate quality of life, with increased natural lubrication and decreased pain during relationships. But the most shocking data that changed the perspective of the entire scientific community was this. In the group that combined antifungal exercises, the effectiveness reached an impressive 98%, with an average recovery time of only 16 days. Dr. Robert Mitchell, the study's main author, stated in an interview that we had never observed so high and lasting healing rates in recurrent candidiasis with any isolated pharmacological protocol. The complete sequence that was validated scientific. It only takes 7 minutes and should be done exactly 2 times a day. One in the morning upon waking to activate circulation and prepare the body for the day, and another before bed to enhance the night regeneration processes. Progression is critical. You start with basic movements and gradually increase the intensity as your muscles strengthen. First part. Respiratory activation. Link on a firm but comfortable surface. Bend the legs forming a 90-degree angle and places your feet resting on the floor at the width of the hips. Put one hand on the belly to monitor the breath. Now it deeply inspires the abdomen, first filling, and when it comes to slowly dropping the air, you will consciously contract the pelvic floor. To locate these muscles, imagine that it is holding the urine in the middle of the jet, but also lightly contracting the anus, as if holding gases, and at the same time trying to suck the vagina inward, as if it were an inner vacuum cleaner. The contraction should be smooth but firm, as if you were gently tightening a sponge to remove the water. It maintains this 3-dimensional contraction for exact 5 seconds as it continues to let go slowly. Then completely relax for 5 seconds, allowing all muscles to be fully loose. Relaxation is as important as contraction. Repeat this sequence exactly 15 times, always coordinating contraction with expiration and relaxation with inspiration. Second part. Pelvic mobilization. Still in the same position, you will make pelvic bangs movements coordinated with breathing. Inspiring deeply, it slightly tilts the pelvis forward, as if it were gently prancing the butt and creating a smooth curvy in the lower back. Expiring and contracting the pelvic floor, it makes the opposite movement. Contract the abdomen and lean the pelvis back, as if shrinking the butt, and flatten the lower back against the floor. The movement must be smooth, controlled, never sudden. It does this exactly 20 times, always coordinating perfectly breathing, pelvic floor contraction, and pelvis movement. Third part. 3-dimensional mobilization. Now it is 4 supports, knees and hands on the floor, neutral spine. This position allows gravity to help with lymphatic drainage, keeping the core muscles slightly activated to protect the lower back. It makes gentle circular motions with the hip, as if drawing circles in the air with the coccyx. 10 complete circles to the right, 10 to the left, always breathing deeply and contracting the pelvic floor at the highest point of each circular motion. With each contraction, imagine that it is squeezing a sponge full of toxins and freeing space for new and oxygenated blood enter. What women report after just 2 weeks by practicing this sequence daily is almost miraculous. The night itching that has plagued them for months or years simply disappears. The abnormal discharge decreases dramatically until it completely normalized. That constant sensation of weight, pressure, and discomfort completely disappears. and many discover that their intimate and sexual life improves significantly in shapes that could not imagine being possible. This is because these specific exercises not only combat candidiasis attacking the root cause, poor circulation and lymphatic stagnation, but also generate extraordinary collateral benefits. They tone the entire intimate muscles by increasing sensitivity and pleasure. They improve natural lubrication, strengthen back pain, improve bladder control, and even help in digestion because they massage, 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 because they massage the internal organs. It is a positive domino effect. You heal yourself from candidiasis and still gain benefits that you didn't even think were possible. Maria Jose, a dear 34-year-old follower, she suffered from recurring candidiasis for 8 long and frustrating years, wrote me an exciting testimonial after 3 weeks doing this religiously. She said, still in tears of relief, that for the first time in almost a decade she was able to wear a black lace panties without stretching or burning, that she was able to fully focus on work without thinking about intimate discomfort every 10 minutes, and she recovered confidence and spontaneity to have intimacy with her husband without fear of pain or embarrassment. "Doctor, I didn't believe something so simple could change my life that deeply," she told me in the audio she sent me. "I spent more than 15,000 reais on consultations, exams, medicines, imported ointments, very expensive probiotics. I tried sugar-free, gluten-free, lactose-free diet. I did acupuncture, Herfic, homeopathy, and the solution was here, in my own body, in movements I can do at home for free in my privacy. If revolting to think of how long I lost suffering for nothing. And it was not just Maria Jose. To this day, I have received more than 200 similar testimonials from women who have completely transformed their intimate health with this simple but powerful technique. Women who once again wearing a bikini in the summer, who stopped carrying ointments in the bag, who failed to avoid intimacy with their partners, who recovered self-esteem and confidence in their own body. The most impressive and at the same time revolting is that this information has existed for decades in the international scientific literature, but rarely come to Brazilian gynecological offices. Why? It is neither conspiracy nor bad faith. There are 3 main reasons. First, medical formation in Brazil is still very focused on pharmacology and little in preventive and self-management approaches. Second, there is no commercial interest in publicizing techniques that you can do alone, at home, for free, without generating revenue for laboratories or clinics. Third, there is a certain prejudice in traditional medicine regarding body or natural approaches, as if they were less scientific, when in fact this study I mentioned is more rigorous than 90% of studies that test drugs. And I will now give you the full detailed protocol, with all the secrets of positioning, progression timing, and variations for different levels of fitness, so that you have a powerful self-healing tool that can start using today, without asking for anyone, without any expense, only with your own body and your determination to regain your intimate health. Now that you know these 3 revolutionary techniques that science has already validated, but unfortunately they do not come to you for the traditional channels, I want to know which one has impressed you most and gave you hope that it is really possible to heal naturally and lasting. Go there in the comments and write Technique 1 if you have been surprised by the power of lymphatic drainage and want to start today. Technique 2 if diaphragmatic breathing caught your attention because you can do it anywhere without anyone noticing. Or Technique 3 if the pelvic floor exercises were your great revelation and you are determined to transform your intimate health once and for all. Your participation in the comments can literally help other women in our community choose where to start their healing journey and feel less alone in this battle. And if you know a dear woman, friend, sister, daughter, mother, cousin, co-worker who is suffering from recurring candidiasis and feeling lost and frustrated, share this video with her. It may be exactly the information she needs to transform her life and recover her intimate trust. In the next video, which airs next Tuesday, I will reveal the 5 foods that are secretly sabotaging their candidiasis treatment and that make the symptoms come back even worse, including a food that 89% of women consume daily, thinking that it is super healthy, but in fact feeding the fungus inside your body. It will be an information bomb that can explain why your previous treatments did not work. Lastly, subscribe there, activate the bell, and get ready to find out truths that can shock you but will break free once and for all this silent battle against candidiasis.